Presented by Wearable Fandoms. Welcome to Where Mighty Things, everyone. Recorded on 5/10. This is episode number 29. My name is Dustin, and I am your host. This is a podcast all about the Roosevelt's brand and community. Fandom, fashion, and friends is what we're all about here on Where Mighty Things. And if that sounds like fun, then you came to the right place. It's great to be back with you guys. The last time that we recorded an episode, we were on the Liberty of the Seas and Nassau, Bahamas. And of course, every time on this podcast, it wouldn't be possible. It wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be worth doing without my incredible co-host, John Madigan. Hey, John, welcome back to Where Mighty Things. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, my friend. How are you?
Not too bad. Just rocking the bomb pops in the background here.
I noticed that. That looks so good, man.
Thank you so much.
I like the little back. I don't think I can change the background on mine. I don't think mine lets me do that.
Well, we'll bring you into the future, or the present, I should say. At some point in the future. Yeah.
One day I'll get there. One day, but I like your little setup. It looks good, my friend.
Thank you. You know, we're going to talk a lot about summer today, and this background just really reminded me of like summer, the heat, getting outside, doing fun stuff, and I'll be curious to hear some of your thoughts about summer. For those who are new, make sure that you like and subscribe the video. We are on a push, John. We are trying to reach 500 subscribers by San Diego Comic-Con. We're incrementally getting there. It's moving along. So thank you for everyone who is currently subscribed and watching. And if you haven't yet, you just found out about us. Hey, drop a little click there, make a little bell, ring that bell so you get all of our content associated with this channel here at Wearable Fandom, including all of these amazing podcasts, which drop about once every other week. So it's the best way that you can help us, in addition to telling friends and family that we're over here having a good time and that they should join in. Now,
yep. Justin, I'm calling an audible right now.
Uh-oh.
For our 500 subscriber. We get that 500 subscriber before San Diego Comic-Con. Whoever the 500 subscriber is, we will do a 10-minute video chat with them and talk about whatever we want. Whatever they want.
Wow.
We'll answer all their questions. You get 10 minutes with John and Dustin. You get 10 minutes to waste our time. And you can show us whatever you want. You can talk to us about whatever you want. We get 10 minutes with the 500 subscriber if we get that before San Diego Comic-Con.
I love that.
That's happening right now. So
we're doing it.
Get that 500 in. Let's do it. I'm all in.
And you know that when you become the 500th subscriber on a channel, that's essentially something that we will connect you with for the rest of our lives. For as long as this podcast exists, you're going to be the 500th, right? You're going to be the person. Now,
we're not even going to call you your name. Like when we see you at a convention, like, oh, there's 500.
500. Yeah, I love
500's right there. Like, I love it. I think we should, like, you trust me. You want to be the 500th subscriber, okay?
What up, 500? That's funny. Yeah, probably get you free drinks when we see you too. I don't know. I don't want to promise that for life. But
yeah, I'll get you a drink. I'll get you a drink. You know, as long as it's not Pepsi, you'll get you a drink. Yeah, well, Dustin and I will each buy you a drink. We'll buy you one drink that we will split. We're going to split the one.
There you go. So thank you to everyone for all of your support, and please keep it coming. Now, before we get too much further here, John, I've got to ask you, my friend, what are you wearing today?
I am wearing Sketchers in the Stars today with the matching hat. And yeah, that's what I'm wearing. I love this design. It's such a great, one of my favorite Disney designs. And I think it was on a certain somebody's top 25 of 25, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was. I love that shirt.
Yeah. What are you wearing today, my friend?
Today, from the May the 4th drop, I am wearing Synthwave Dogfight, which is really cool. It's got all these great TIE Fighters, X-Wings, and of course the Millennium Falcon. I love it because the pocket's got this really great Millennium Falcon in there. So it's the Synthwave Dogfight. And in fact, I actually bought the tux of this. So I'm looking forward to wearing it out for this summer.
Absolutely. You know, a friend of mine was actually just telling me that he bought the tux for that one as well. And you're not going to believe how dumb this guy is. He usually wears like an XL, 2XL, and he actually bought size small shorts.
Why would he do that?
Right. And like, I know, right? And I told him like, oh, no worries. I'm like, just exchange it. And he was like, no, I ripped the tag off that said, if you rip this off, you can't exchange it. So, you know, you would think that when he saw the shorts and like noticed that they were small, he would have, you know, done something about it then. But no, I can't believe how dumb is that guy?
What a knucklehead. Yeah. And of course, John's talking about me. That's exactly what I did. It was one of those situations where I rushed and I was trying to make sure that they didn't sell out of the May the 4th drops because I wanted to get the tux. And I've got a few tuxes that I've been waiting for. That South Pacific, I've been waiting for those shorts to come back around. I have to hope that they happen sometime this summer. I didn't want to miss out, so I've got the shorts. They ain't my size, and I was a little too ambitious to get them open and get them on today. So it's a bummer.
So if you're a size small and you happen to have, like, I don't know, anything big, an XL or 2XL, reach out to us. We'll do the little swap, and if you want and Dustin will sign them for you.
Thank you. Yes.
Dustin will sign the shorts for you, so that way be a collector's item.
That's right. I'll sign them as the idiot. All right. Well, we're recording here on May 10th, John. Tomorrow, 5/11, it's Mother's Day. Mother's Day.
Yes.
Do you happen to have any big plans with your moms?
So I am planning on. Both me and my mom we're very big Broadway fans. Living in New York City, really blessed to go see Broadway shows. So one of the things that they actually offer, all the Broadway shows offer this, and a lot of people realize this, are something called rush tickets. And that's where you go early and you line up at the box office, and you can actually get significantly cheaper tickets. So instead of paying $200 or $300 for a ticket, you can get those same seats for about $40 or $50 a ticket.
Wow.
So I plan to get up early tomorrow. There's one show that she's been wanting to see for a while called The Outsiders, based on the book by S.E. Hilton. She's been wanting to see that one for a while. It won the Tony last year for Best Musical. So it's kind of a harder ticket to get, but I plan on getting up early tomorrow and waiting in line at the box office and getting us tickets to go see The Outsiders.
Nice.
And surprising her with that. So that's my plan for tomorrow. What about you?
Well, my mom's all the way on the East Coast, so I will give her a call and chat with her. I, of course, sent some, the normal gifts, the flowers and that kind of stuff over to her. And I'll just call and make sure she got those things and chat with her. And, my mom and I have a really fun little thing. She talks about this idea of wanting to buy like a rundown shack on the ocean. Mm-hmm. And so I will.
And you're going to make that dream come true for you.
Well, it's
such a good son.
I know, it's a very strange one. I was like, "Why do you want to live in a shack on the beach?" but she says, "No, it doesn't need to be a shack." But she wants to maybe, after she completely retires, she wants to move to the beach and just be able to enjoy access to the beach whenever she wants. So I send her listings or I send her photos of stuff, and occasionally I will prank her by sending her like the most rundown little hut that's falling apart. And she'll get really excited about it, and we'll have a good laugh. So I'm looking to find some pranks also to give to my mom tomorrow for the shack that she wants by the sea.
I will definitely be on the lookout for you. Shout out to you, Mama Klingman. I know she watches. You raised a good one.
Aww.
Yeah. So shout out to you, and we hope all the mothers out there that listen to our show, or if you have a mom, hopefully they enjoy and they have a great Mother's Day. And we shout out to all of them. In case, assuming they're a good mom. If they're a bad mom, well, then we really don't want them.
Then shame out to them. We're going to shame you out. Shame out.
Then shame out to them. But if you're a good mom, though, then we want you. We like you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, I guess, let's see. Looking here, John, at the calendar, this Thursday, May 15th, the Ides of May, that is a bit of a solemn milestone for us. That's actually going to be 1 year marking the passing of the Roosevelt's co-founder Steve Gebhart. That's not to take an immediate downturn here on the mood, but it's been a very interesting and trying year in the time since Steve left us. And I thought we'd kind of openly have a conversation about like what's happened this year and how we feel.
I definitely. I don't want to, speak for him, but I would like to think that, he looks down on us and is proud of everything that, the community and HQ are doing. Clearly, Steve and John started something absolutely amazing. And, we're 1 year later and they are continuing to make big strides and continuing to make this community bigger and better than it ever has been. And so, there's a lot to say when you lose somebody so important and so influential to the company. And so, and a lot of things can happen, and things can, get amiss and just take a huge downward spiral. And I think HQ, as tough as it has been able to work through any kind of I don't know what the right word is, but they've been able to work through anything that they've had to work through to keep the company going where it has to be. And clearly they're doing great things. They're daring mighty things. And I'd like to think that Steve would be proud of everything that's going on and be happy to know that something that, he was a co-founder of is still continuing to go on and build and grow, and hopefully following out the visions that, him and John had originally intended to. And so that's kind of what I would hope that, he's looking at it. I love insiders that continue to go out of their way and, be a Steve. And to me, be a Steve just means be a good person, be a helping hand, to be a person who wants to be a part of a community. And I absolutely love insiders that do that and go out of their way to do that. And, it all came from him and John. So he is definitely well missed. And I definitely miss him. And it sucks. But, I'd like to think that he's looking down on us and he's proud.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment, and I think the hashtag Be a Steve is something that a lot of people have embraced. A lot of people have stepped up and stepped forward, and I hope that they will continue to do that. And I tend to agree with you. Wherever he is at, he's happy that what he played a part in creating is surviving beyond him, and to be honest, thriving and growing. There are new people coming into the community who never knew anything about him, and yet they're still called to the gravity of the commonality that we have as fans of different media, or fans of these shirts and the people who like to wear them. We need to just periodically remind ourselves to keep pushing, stay open, be welcoming, remind people that this is not a clique; it's actually a community, and everybody's welcome here. If you like the shirts and you're a good person and you can behave yourself, you're welcome to hang with us at any point in time, anywhere in the U.S., anywhere around the world. So I agree with you. Steve would still be proud of it, and I also echo the sentiment of him being missed.
I definitely hope that we get another celebration of life at Pier 13. I had a friend of mine who wanted to come, but he thought it was more important to go to Hawaii. So
you have a lot of friends. Yeah. Once again, John's talking about me, and that was a long planned trip, right? I mean, it was already booked and paid for, so it's unfortunate.
It's a shame. Yeah, I know you tried to get that refund. I'm sure.
Yeah, well, it's also not just, it didn't just affect me, right? We weren't gonna drop our plans and then
it affected the whole community that you.
Well, I was there. I called virtually from Hawaii, so I did my best.
You set up your best background too. You set up, like, we got to see you, and we also got to see your amazing view of what you had as well.
It was Diamond Head was out behind me, so yeah, it was great. It was awesome. So, but yeah, I hope that if they plan to do that, they'll actually give us a little bit more heads up, and I'll be able to plan accordingly. So right now, no plans to go to Hawaii this year. Maybe that'll change, but if I get something on the books to go to a Celebration of Life Redux Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, then I'll be able to schedule that. And then if we want to go to Hawaii, we'll go a different weekend or a different month, or not at all. Hopefully we'll hear something new about that soon, and that they won't leave us waiting to the last second.
Yeah, let's hope. I would love to see it, because I think there was like over 350 insiders at that event.
Yeah,
it was absolutely huge, and such a huge wave of love. Like, it was just, you can really feel the energy in that. I don't want to say that room because it's a big open space, but you can definitely feel the energy on that pier. You can definitely feel and it was something really, really, really special. So I definitely hope, definitely hope we get more of that.
Well, if they redo it, John, it will start to become a summer tradition, which is a great segue to our next segment here, really talking about summer traditions. because we probably talked a little bit about this last year, but I want to, what does summer remind you of? What does it make you think of? And are there any things that you like to make sure that you get to do during the summer?
Oh man. Well, the summer traditions for me always meant, going in the pool, going out. For us in Staten Island, the start of summer is you're gonna laugh at this, but I brought you down to Ralph's Ices, which is only open in the summer. So we know when Ralph's opens up, which I think opens up in the next couple of days if they haven't opened over already. When Ralph's is open, that's when summers begin. So you got to get yourself a Ralph's Ice. I always enjoy. So in New York City, fireworks are illegal. I don't know what the rule is over by you, but you cannot get fireworks, but people just smuggle them in from Pennsylvania. So I always enjoy this. That's it. You just drive to Pennsylvania, drive an hour away, you buy them there, you bring them back.
Of course they do. Of course.
Yeah, of course they do. And just hope that your neighbor's not a narc. That's all.
Your neighbor's Ann Brown, right? Is Ann Brown going to call the cops on you?
She better not. No, I was going to say no. I've never actually lit a firework. I've never lit fireworks before.
Oh,
but
really?
no, but I enjoy driving around at night and seeing all the fireworks people do on July 4th. But then there's also, they do them on July 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Happy July 12th, everyone.
Yeah. We now return you to your regularly scheduled shootings, then replace the fireworks. That's funny.
No, but, and also they'll have we have a, believe it or not, it's actually Roosevelt Boardwalk. We actually have Roosevelt Boardwalk.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes the city will they'll host like a fireworks show down there, and they'll have like food trucks on the boardwalk, and it's a nice little like kind of like a little Italian festival that nice. They'll have a DJ. They'll have it's a nice little event. So that's kind of what summer means to me. But what about for you, my friend? What do you do in the summer? What means what things do you make sure you get done every summer?
Yeah, so summer in San Francisco is kind of interesting because the temperature in the morning is still always the same, but it'll get warm, and people start going out to Dolores Park, and Dolores Park is a really, really great. It's kind of like a hill, a big grassy space with a hill. They've got tennis courts, they've got all kinds of stuff, but it can really accommodate a lot of people. People love queuing up there and hanging out for the day. You've got the various different guys that go around and sell edibles. They're basically selling edibles, for people on without a prescription, right? But
no, we should do that.
Yeah, but you got a great view back of the downtown city from there. They've got Buy Right ice cream there that's really good. They have a bunch of delicious flavors there. So I think in San Francisco a lot about just being outside, because it really is. It's always chilly and you're always wearing a jacket, but when you can actually go outside and just wear your kunu and some shorts, that's a really big deal. And it's a very, very narrow window in San Francisco that you can do that. So I love that. And then I think the other, big now, kind of as an adult for me, San Diego Comic-Con is just sort of like a big tradition. I think I've gone to the last 7 or 8 Comic-Cons in a row. Kind of wish I had gotten into YouTube back then, because I would be at like year 7 or 8 instead of year 2. But
and we wouldn't be begging for 500 subscribers either.
Yeah, probably would have already have done that, and maybe even eclipsed that. Hopefully, you never know. We'd already have a 500 in the community. But going to Comic-Con has always been like a really big thing I look forward to. And so for this year, I'm taking the whole week off. I'm going down before the show. I'll have video coverage and things like that to help people get ready for the show, trying to bring some tips and tricks. So people who are first timers, there's always thousands and thousands of people there for the first time, just trying to share some knowledge and things that I've picked up along the way. So Comic-Con for me is like a really, really big tradition. And then lastly, I know we talked about it a little bit, but especially for probably the last 5 or 6 years, going to Hawaii at the end of the summer has also been a big deal. We try to go in September, and that's because the kids usually are going back to school, so there's less kids, it's a little less crowded. You can just kind of like lay out, and that trip for me is almost always and exclusively about relaxation. That is like my recover before the last push, through the last quarter of the year. And so I look forward to just being, time moves differently in Hawaii. I don't know if you felt that. Like when you're in.
I've never been to Hawaii. No,
okay,
I would never. No, I don't know what you're talking about, Dustin.
I got you. Well, let me tell you, when I'm in New York, time moves very fast, very fast. And part of that is because I'm on the East Coast and I'm normally on West Coast time. But when I go to Hawaii, time just slows down. Like nobody's on time for anything. Nobody cares if you're late. Just, it's hot, man. Relax, have a drink, just chill out. Like there's that kind of energy. I really enjoy that energy, and I like getting access to that just, one time a year.
Sounds like paradise. Sounds like
pretty close.
I got the South Shore though. I have the Jersey Shore.
Oh, well, yeah.
I love that reaction. Oh, well, yeah, that's...
yeah. Isn't it covered with needles? Isn't it covered with needles?
It is. You can go see Snooki. You can go...
Snooki. She's got a bar down there, right?
She's got something. Back to the edibles without the prescription. Is that a tradition for you as well?
Oh, no. Of course not.
No.
The guy. So let me tell you a little bit more about this, and if people are interested,
it's not a tradition, but he knows so much about it.
Well, no, there is. There's a lot of traditions in San Francisco, and one of them is the rum ball guy. And that's basically what everybody knows this dude as. He's the rum ball guy. So he walks around and sometimes he carries like coconuts, and he'll do the thing where he'll like open the coconut for you and he'll give it to you. But he also sells these rum ball chocolates. And some of them are just, like just what you would think, a little chocolate ball with like a little splash of rum in it. And then some of them I think are edibles. And he walks around and just sells them, and he's super duper popular. I mean, the guy probably makes his year.
I'm sure he is.
Just going up there on the weekend. So yeah, get big burrito, go up there, hang out, just watch the people. A lot of people playing Smash Ball and stuff like that. Good time, really good time.
Now, let me ask you your opinion on something, and we can cut this out of the podcast if you don't want to. But it's a topic that I think is interesting, only because you brought up the edibles, not the prescription. I can segue into this.
Okay,
I have a cousin that you've met that likes to indulge without a prescription, and he has a guy actually deliver right to his house.
Oh,
yeah. He delivers right to him. And I was talking to him about this, and I asked him...
It's called a dealer, John?
Yes. He's a dealer, deliver right to the house. And I asked, like, well, how much do you tip him for delivering? And he's like, I don't tip him. I'm like, wouldn't, but you would tip the pizza guy? He's like, no. He's like, that's not how that works. That's not how that... You don't tip the dealer. Like, I think you're supposed to... I think if you're getting delivery, I think you should tip the dealer.
That's an interesting question. So, first of all, there are a lot of legal services that will deliver stuff.
This is not one of them.
Okay, all right. In the case where it's like an actual organized, licensed company that can deliver, and there are many of those all around the country. In that case, it's somebody providing a service. You probably should tip them like you tip the pizza man. In the case of your dealer, I would expect that his delivery charge is built into the price, so you probably can get by without tipping him. That's my mismanners for your question.
And he does, but I was a little surprised. And there's one thing. So I've never smoked anything before in my life. Honestly, God, it's not just haven't done it. I would have thought like there would be like a 420 sale, like they have Black Friday sales in the stores. I thought like on 420, like there'd be some sort of like extravaganza sale. No, it's just business as usual.
No. There's no reason to put anything on discount. Like people are going to buy. Like you put things on discount when they're going to go bad, or there's a new line of clothes coming in. This is why Roosevelt's has a big deal at the end of the year. They want to sell out that stuff, and a lot of times they'll get taxed on what they hold in their warehouse. So radically reducing the holdings in the warehouse is a big deal.
Sure.
So they want to get that stuff out of there because they don't want to pay a tax on it, and it's like kind of decays the profit on it. So no. Like if you're selling edibles, I'm sure they do have a sell by date, but the truth is like you've got literally an evergreen product, John. It's not going bad, and it's always in demand. Equals never on sale. Like it never.
I just thought 420. What, you give 10% off or something? I don't know. I mean.
No, maybe to get first timers in. If you're a first timer, maybe, but like once they got you, they got you. So,
I thought, every business has their holiday.
Yeah. Every business has their holiday, but some businesses are lucky to never have to put stuff on sale.
That's true. That's true. Maybe we're in the wrong business, Dustin. Maybe we're in the wrong.
Probably. Thought about it. I actually had an opportunity to work with a guy on a cannabis related. He wanted to make a web, not really a website, but like a Google Map / directory of retail stores where you could buy stuff. That was his thing, and I was not interested in getting involved because I didn't trust the guy, and so I just backed out of it.
He sounds very trustworthy. Why would you not trust him?
Well, I like I said, I didn't feel like it was going to go where I wanted it to go or be what I wanted it to be. So, yeah, it just wasn't something I was interested in. But yeah, one of these days, I'll have to tell you a lot of the different types of jobs that I've turned down. There's a lot of stuff like that comes your way when you find yourself in those types of lines of business.
I can only imagine. Well, that sounds like an episode of Where Mighty Things After Dark.
Dun dun dun. Maybe yeah.
Something we've discussed.
Something we have discussed. Yeah, we'd have to see. Hey, would you guys like to see a little bit of a less hinged version of this podcast with maybe even some wild guests from time to time? Drop a comment below and let us know if that's something you'd like to see, or send us a message. You can drop us an email, wheremightythings@gmail.com, and let us know what you think about that idea that John just put out about having a little bit of a looser, unhinged kind of conversational podcast. We can evaluate that. Now, one of the other things I think about during summer, John, is summer blockbuster movies. And actually, Roosevelt's has had some really killer drops in this regard. They recently had a Jaws drop celebrating the 50th anniversary of Jaws. There was a really cool Disney drop for Mickey's Surreal Summer. And then, of course, Jurassic Park that just happened today when we recorded. I am kind of curious if you had any big reactions to these summer drops, or if there were any shirts that really kind of captured your imagination.
First of all, great drops. But I just wanted to touch base on just one thing before we get into the drops. Just we were talking about, summer, our thoughts and, traditions and whatnot, and what things summer reminds me of. Summer blockbusters is definitely one for me. But the summer also marks, so my parents were a little strict with me. They were a little, they kept the leash on a little tight for a while. Now that I'm older, I kind of get why. But I remember the first time I ever went to go see a movie by myself. Like, I was with friends, but the first time I went to go to the movie theaters by myself with no adult supervision was in the summer. And I'm just kind of wondering if you could guess what movie I saw with my friends. It came out in summer of 2008, and it was a comedy movie. And just kind of wondering if you can guess the movie that me and my friends went to go see. It was the first time I ever went to the movies by myself. So 2008.
I think
I was 13.
Really?
Now, do you think 13's too old, too young? Like, I don't know. What age did you go to the movies by yourself without adult supervision?
I think I probably went when I was 10.
Yeah, see, my parents kept the leash on a little long.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm trying to think, like, it's a comedy. I want to say, was it Mamma Mia that you went and saw?
No, it was not Mamma Mia.
I'm trying to remember if Step Brothers came out that year, and I don't remember if it was that year or not.
It was not Step Brothers. I don't know if it was that year, but it was not Step Brothers.
Well, the only other guess, my last guess, is Tropic Thunder.
Nope. So the first movie that I went to go see as a kid with no adult supervision was the Adam Sandler comedy You Don't Mess with the Zohan.
What a New York choice. Jeez.
That was the first one. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know how it happened, but that became the one. Is that a movie you've seen?
I saw it a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably not something you rewatch consistently, but whenever I see that movie pop up, that reminds me, like, oh, that was the first movie I ever saw in theaters, without parents. And then, of course, shortly after that, one of my favorite movies of all time, I got to see The Dark Knight, which I went to go see 3 times in theaters. I was addicted to that movie.
Wow.
Do you remember seeing The Dark Knight in theaters?
Yeah. In fact, actually, when I saw The Dark Knight in theaters, I remember that there was a shooting spree or something that had happened in one of the theaters, and I
That
was
was The
sitting
Dark Knight
next to the door.
Rises.
Right, and I was sitting next to. So this was the later. This was in the sequel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do remember seeing The Dark Knight. Dark Knight was great. That's a really good movie.
The Dark Knight was the first time that I saw a movie, and I was like, "Oh, this is what a good movie's supposed to be." I was like, because I remember like watching movies, but then being like, I remember like sitting there and being amazed by like Heath Ledger's acting and being like, "Oh, this is what people talk about like when they say like a good movie."
Yeah.
My father would always bring up a point. I was a big wrestling fan growing up. Like I loved wrestling. I loved John Cena. I was a huge John Cena kid.
Yeah.
And John Cena came out with a movie called The Marine.
I remember
where he went to go. So like, of course, like for me, like as a John Cena, I'm like, oh, we gotta go see The Marine like opening night. And I made my dad bring me, to go see The Marine. And then I remember when the Oscar nominations came out, and I'm sitting there waiting for them to announce The Marine as Best Picture. And my dad was like, no.
Unlikely, John. Unlikely. That's funny.
Very unlikely, but I remember. But my dad would tell me, he's like, "You were genuinely upset that The Marine did not win Best Picture at the Oscars.
Wasn't even nominated. I'm sure.
Wasn't even nominated. No, of course
Hilarious.
not.
That's funny.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, it's got to be The Marine. I probably watched that 27 times as a kid. I'm like, it's got to be the greatest movie ever. Of course.
Yeah. I don't remember if I was 9 or 10, but 1987. Guess what movie was the first movie that I saw in the theaters by myself?
1987. Hold on. I gave you a little bit more. I gave you a time period. I gave you a season, and I gave you a genre.
Summer sci-fi 1987.
Summer sci-fi 1987.
Yeah.
Predator?
No, I didn't get to see Predator until it went to VHS.
The Running Man?
Nope. Another Schwarzenegger movie, but nope.
Inner Space?
Nope. That's a good one too.
1987 science fiction movies. RoboCop?
It was RoboCop.
Hey, all right.
Yeah.
That's a good first movie. That's
that's not a movie for. I think I was a little young to see that movie. To be honest, yeah, it was a little violent for the time. Now it seems a little tame relatively, but there are a couple of pretty robust scenes in there. But yeah. So went and saw that, and I was like, I remember, like, I was like, what the hell is this movie? The TV commercials were great, but. It was pretty cool, pretty good movie. It still stands up. It's still a good movie to today.
And I know we're getting really off topic, but I don't know why. Memories just keep coming back now. And this is a very New York thing. I'm sure you'll love it. My parents, when I was really little, like I'm talking like 7 or 8 years old, we had a TV with 2 VHS players that were daisy chained together.
Oh.
And we would rent tapes from Blockbuster and then record them on blank tapes and then send them back.
Yep, that's a very New York thing.
yeah. You're like, yep, like, of course you did. Yep. Like, I realized, like, I was doing that at, like, 8 or 9 years old. Like, I was, like, that was the thing. Like, oh, yeah, you press play here, you press record here, it goes there. It was great. Like,
yeah.
And then, like, every movie you wanted. Like, we had a stack full of blank VHS tapes, and that was it. That's how we got all our movies.
Amazing. Well,
was that something you did in your household?
No, we didn't have 2 VCRs, but I knew people who did, and occasionally we would sometimes record movies off of TV. Like we would just record them if they aired, so they would have commercials in them. Well, let's bring it back to the drops, though. Now that we've talked a little bit about some blockbuster movies and our history with summer films and cinema, what was your reaction to some of these drops? There was a lot of stuff for the Jaws 50th. The Clever Girl performance shorts just dropped today, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a new drop. And Clever Girl has to be one of the best-selling Roosevelt shirts of all time, by my recollection.
Oh, absolutely has to be. Yeah. I mean, that is a new drop. That's the first time that I've seen that. So I'm surprised it took them this long to come out with those. I'm sure those are going to be a huge seller. So I think that was really cool. Honestly, I love the Jaws line. The Jaws 50th anniversary The Mapped Out of Mayhem reminds me a lot about my Staten Island shirt
Yeah, I was
that I just
thinking
got
that
on
too.
the. I saw that and I was like, that reminds me of the Staten Island shirt. I'm like, it's got the same kind of look to it. I'm like, but the Jaws line was really, really good. And we finally got to see the Beaches Will Be Open shirt that was teased by Gates Counselor at the pool party, I think 2 years ago. And so the story behind that shirt, so Gates Counselor showed up wearing that at the Roosevelt's pool party.
Mhm.
No one had seen that before. And the story that he told us was that was actually supposed to come out with the Jaws collection that came out then. That was supposed to come out with then. And the approval on that design didn't come in until after like they wouldn't have enough time to print it and have it ready for then. So he was told it was going to be a con exclusive.
Ah.
I guess they decided to make it a regular design, but it did make me think like, oh, like, you know, this is a design that's out now, but like this was considered to be a con design. And honestly, the sales, you know, for it look like it should have been. Small, medium, large is still in stock, but every other size, XL to 4XL and extra small are all gone. So it sounds like it would have sold pretty well at a convention. That's a great looking shirt to me. What are your thoughts on that one?
I thought it was great. Yeah, I love the design. It's a little bit of a subtle, you know, it's more of a Dustin than a John shirt, but I still thought it was quite cool and just a really great drop overall. I mean, the Great White Gallery was cool, where they had a lot of different movie posters from Jaws, some of them cartoonified, and some of them just sort of the actual. Ones that you saw in the movie theater. The Sticker City version, I think they called it Greetings from Amity. Or Amity, not Amity. It's Amity. I'm thinking Amityville Horror. But the Jaws sticker shirt was pretty cool. The Mapped Out Mayhem was awesome. I saw that immediately. I was like, first of all, I know John T designed this, and second of all, it looks just like your Staten Island. It's hailing from the same inspiration, but
Definitely
a really strong drop overall. I mean, the hats were great. I'm not buying too much in the way of Roosevelt's t-shirts. I feel like even though they are the most comfortable t-shirt, they're a little expensive for what they are. But the 50th anniversary Brody Roper shirt was also something really cool. And I expect, John, that at one of these cons, there is actually going to be a con exclusive, especially maybe at Philly that's coming up. The 50th anniversary of Jaws is actually coming up. They're going to be celebrating it in middle of June on Martha's Vineyard. There's a whole big production about it. I haven't decided whether or not I will attend or not, but for the Fandom Traveler, which is our other channel that you guys might be interested in if you like travel stuff, I might go. And if I do, I'm going to have to make sure I bring the right clothes, and so I'll have to probably add a couple more shirts from this collection.
And you got to make sure you bring those size small shorts that everyone wants to see you in now.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think we could put it on my arm. Like it just one on one arm now.
But I did want to talk about the Disney summer drop.
Okay.
And it's funny because you just mentioned, how that Joe's shirt is more of a Dustin shirt. This collection is more of a John collection.
Oh my gosh.
By far.
Yes.
Especially the pop art party, which I absolutely fell in love with. That was immediately like, oh, yes, add to cart. Yes, I need that. That was definitely a solid drop. Absolutely loving the hats too. That came out with that. Those retro signature Mickey classic hats.
Yes.
Those were definitely right up my style. Love that we got women's cuts for the designs as well. Always love to see that happen. The hats really impressed me though. That pop art party, that was cool. The Dreamland drip is cool too, but that pop up party, that's the one. That's the John shirt. That's the one that I wanted. What about for you? Anything inside this collection? Tease you a little bit?
Well, there were some really cool shirts. The pop art party, I feel like I've seen a mural, and I think it was in Vegas at one of the places by the Waldorf Astoria. They have this gallery, and I feel like I've seen something that might have been a point of inspiration for these. But the Glow Flow, like the Tropiglow Mickey, which is basically the right way to think about that shirt, that was a really great one. The Pixel Pal, I remember I was in Disney Springs at the beginning of last month, and I saw Uniqlo had already released a bunch of like weird T-shirts. So I I kind of thought something crazy like this was going to come, but then when a month went by and it was that much of a delay, it seemed like it wouldn't happen, and then here it is. So Pixel Pal, I liked the Donald Duck shirt out on a limb with the really long kind of like arms. To be honest, every one of these was a really cool design. I wouldn't probably wear the Pop Art Party or the Dreamland Drip, but most of the other ones I would have picked. And totally echo your comments on the hats. The hats were killer. Women's cuts were awesome. It was another really big drop. They even had preschool. They had preschool sets here, John. I don't know if you noticed that. They had youth and preschool. So you could take it all the way down to the smallest of your family and match and twin all the way down to the youngest.
Wow, I love when they do things like that. I think that is absolutely perfect. So definitely happy to see that. Definitely epic drops from Roosevelt's as per usual. Definitely really happy with these collections, and I'm definitely gonna have to pick up some of these for summer.
For summer,
for summer, summer love, baby. And also, I don't know if we talked about this on the cruise podcast, but we got a new type of shorts. From Roosevelt's.
That's right.
A couple weeks ago. The Chino shorts. I forget, please correct me if I'm wrong if we had mentioned this. These seem to have sold out pretty well. Most sizes appear to be sold out. Selling at $55 a pair. What were your thoughts on these? I mean, they're definitely a little bit of a newer venture for Roosevelt's.
Yeah. I mean, looking at them, this is going to be a hard category for Roosevelt's, in my opinion. Like, of course, I am supportive of the company. I want to support what they're doing, but they're competing in an area where there's lots of very, very lower cost options, and they need to have. They really need to have a compelling argument as to why would I buy these instead of just buying the $10 or $15 ones I get off of Amazon or Walmart. So I like the fact that, this is mostly cotton with a little bit of spandex. So it's got a similar blend to what they do for the Kunus. I love that it's got the drawstring on the inside, which is awesome as well. They only make these in 7-inch inseams, which makes them a little bit short for some people. Like I prefer like the 11-inch inseams. I got longer legs. I want the shorts to break a little differently on my legs.
Sure.
But to be honest, I liked the fact that they were going in this direction. I'm glad that they sold, but truthfully, the fact that they're sold out to me means there was some interest. I don't know that this is going to be a mass seller for them because it's just a very hard segment. They're typical chinos. If they did branded chinos, it'd be different, right? If that was Disney stuff slathered all over those chinos, it's going to be different. People are going to look at them in a different way.
Sure.
But a standard tan or beige chino is pretty cheap to buy. And why would I want to pay that kind of an upcharge when I could get this for less? I could get two for one. Almost certainly, I could get 2 for 1. I like the design. I need to try them on to see how they fit. I wish they were longer, and it feels a little bit pricey given how much of a competitive area that sort of short is found in.
Sounds like something Wearable Fandom is going to have to do a little review on.
Yeah.
My opinion.
A good point. It's a really good point. And I don't want to dog on them because I'm always happy when they try new things. Like it's one of the things I love the most about the company. They're not afraid to try crazy designs for the fabric. They're not afraid to try. I mean, that blackout Mickey foil, the Sketches to Stars, the black one that Forrest had on the cruise. They continued to work on that foiling to kind of create better survivability of that material. So I love that they push the boundaries. I just feel like they need to bring a little bit more here in order for this to land and for the audience that they want.
That's totally fair. And just one more thing when we're talking about Roosevelt's and whatnot. I say when we're talking about Roosevelt's. We talk about Roosevelt's the entire time.
It's the whole cast.
It's the whole cast. But there was one thing that I wanted to bring up and just mention. One of my favorite glitch, I don't know if it was a glitch or one of my favorite things that you were able to see has now been fixed. And Dustin knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to see and one of the things I thought was helpful in terms of helping me make a purchase decision was being able to see the inventory levels. For those who don't know, you were able to see Roosevelt's inventory levels by adding whatever item you wanted to the cart and changing the cart number to something ridiculous like 300, and the cart would automatically adjust itself to whatever the actual number of physical inventory was in there. So if you were debating on buying something and you did that, and it said that they had, I don't know, 47 left in stock, you might say like, oh, well, they have some stock, like we're good. I don't have to worry about it too much. But if you would change it and said they only had 2 or 3 left in your size, well, then maybe you want to pull that trigger because those could be gone any second. And now when you go to do that, it adjusts everything to 15, assuming that there's more than 15 in stock. So you can only see if there's 15 or more in stock. You cannot see the entire number. I get why they fixed it, but I was a little unhappy now that I can't look at stuff, and definitely adds a little bit more FOMO to the game. You're definitely taking a little bit more of a risk when doing that.
100%, dude. That's how I ended up with small shorts. I was rushing to get through because I thought they would be gone, and so I ended up with a small pair of shorts instead of confirming twice that it was the right size.
Right. No, I get it. It's the name of the game. I get it. But it was definitely something that I liked. It would definitely help me, make a purchase or I guess not make a purchase sometimes. And now you're really not going to have that ability to look. It was something, when a drop would first happen at 4:00, I would check the inventory level, see how well they did and how much they ordered and how quickly they were going. And so I knew if I needed to jump on it or if I could wait a little bit. And now you just got to do what you got to do, apparently. So I don't know. I was a little disappointed by that, but I'm not giving them crap. I get it, but it was something that I liked.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody likes to be able to get the information, right? So I totally get where you're coming from on that. But they closed it for a reason, and it also probably helped protect some of the stock, because if you think about it, if you wanted to buy 50 shirts, I guess you could do that. If you were like a reseller, you could just buy 50 shirts at retail and then have them all shipped to you. So if you knew that answer, you knew about the rarity. And like you said, you were using it to make a decision. Do I need to do it now or later? A lot of other people probably were abusing this, and that's part of the reason why they shut the loophole.
Sure. I get it. It makes sense. But seeing it gone, I was like, it sucks.
Yeah. It is what it is, my friend. Well, cool. So we talked about the summer drop so far. Just a couple of other quick notes here before we wrap up. The Philly Fan Expo is coming up really soon. Last year they had those some really great exclusives. So we'll be curious to see what they will be doing. The London Comic-Con, the London Fan Expo is coming up actually in 2 weeks. I'll be in London next week, John, but I'll be there 1 week early. I'm showing up a little early to all these things, just a little early.
I will most likely be at the Philly Fan Expo, though. So if you see me, be sure to come up and say hi. And I'll definitely be looking to talk to as many of you as possible. Always happy to talk with and hang out with other insiders and whatnot. And I think it's really interesting at the Love City Brewing place. They're doing a meetup on that Saturday where Roosevelt's will be debuting an exclusive item available for purchase. Something they're advertising they've never done before. And that sounds really interesting to me. And that definitely makes me want to get in my car and drive the hour and a half to Philly to see what's going on. So I will most likely be there and checking that out. And so any predictions for that? I mean, what do you think you think we're getting another floral? Do you think, what do you think is happening?
I think it's going to be that possum hat that we saw at MegaCon. Do you remember that possom hat that we tried on?
Yeah, the one that Stone Cipher was wearing. Yeah,
Stone Cipher was wearing it. It's an item. It's that might time out well with some of the other things they want to do at Philly. So that's my guess. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, this is something they're saying is something they've never done before. I mean, it does kind of remind me of when they did the MCO florals. So I don't know why they're saying they haven't done it before. But I mean, they're definitely getting me excited. They're getting me, first time we've seen this kind of thing happen. So, no one knew the MCO floral was going to happen. So, we shall see. I definitely wish you were coming to hang out and we can experience it together. But Yeah, it'll be interesting though. I definitely am excited to do that, and I'll try to make it to the field rip party as well. I see that they're throwing as well. You were saying that you think that should be a lot of fun. Um,
Yeah,
I'm in. I'm in to check it out.
Yeah,
In it to win it.
The right field rips is what you're talking about there, and in Philly and in Dallas, DTH has organized a right field. You just buy a ticket in the right field. They're going to have a hang. They're going to bring baseball cards. People are going to rip cards during the game. Sounds like a lot of fun. That would be worth coming for, to be honest. So maybe I'll look again at Dallas and see if that fits into my schedule. But Philly's certainly a no dice for me. So.
I got you.
Yeah. Cool. It's probably about time here. We're coming up on an hour, so we should probably put the lid on this bad boy. Anything you want to say before we close her down?
No, I'll also be at the Dirty Jersey meetup on the the 26th. So I definitely encourage all of you to come down to that and hang out with us at Bellworks. I think that's going to be an absolutely great time. So I'm excited to see all of you there, and I'm really grateful for everybody that came out on the cruise. Everybody posted so many amazing, awesome, fun things about that. Seems like everyone had a great time. So I'm really blessed and grateful for everybody for doing that. And I can't wait for the next one. So we're definitely going to be planning that. And hope everyone has a great Mother's Day. And just thankful for all of you. And let's get to 500 subscribers. Let's make that happen.
Let's do it.
We got a 500, and we're going to make it happen. Dustin, anything from you?
I want to know who's going to be 500. I wonder if it'll actually be an insider or if it'll just be a random person who's just like, this looks interesting. That'd be funny if it ended up being a random guy.
That would be funny. That would be, but we got to do it. We got to follow him around, just call him 500 and
500.
We're going to split that one drink for him and be a good time.
Exactly. And it's great. Enjoy your time with your moms. If they're available, make sure that you reach out to them and say hi. And, for some people, it's going to be a tough week kind of with the memory of Steve's passing. So we hope that, you guys will make it through strong and, remember, be a Steve. The best way to honor his memory is to try to embody his best characteristics and be a Steve. We're going to sign off here. Please drop us a line, wearmightythings@gmail.com. Drop a comment down below and let us know about your favorite summer blockbusters. And of course, as John said, please like and subscribe on the podcast and share it with your friends. And until next time, wear mighty things. So long, everybody.